You all asked for it, and here it is. The base build video for the ALCATRAZ. This isn't the most insane base ever made, but I think it's pretty bloody cool. And with recent turret nerfs, this base is even stronger. Its main standout features are obviously its open core that is just insane to live in and has space for everything you would need in your Rust wipes. But more importantly, it's completely modular, so it's very easy to build at your own pace until you get to the full design where you have 3 offset bunkers, which are very important as now with these turret changes, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to offline, and bunkers are going to be a lot more important to protect your loot while you're sleeping. Now I hate long starts to build videos. You just want to know the features and you want to know how to build it. So here are the features. You've got 3 very standard bunkered external TCs that can be disconnected if you lose your main TC in a raid. You've got your standard pixel gap type external gatehouses and bedrooms as well. Then you've got your awesome open core, which is obviously very easy to get around in. You can access all 3 of your different starter modules that have the bunkers in them. You can also go from the bottom to the top of the base easily with heaps of different chutes, or just by jumping on these half floors and jumping through the roofs straight to the roof itself. And finally, the roof of the base, which doesn't really have a shooting floor, but it does have 3 separate towers that give you great coverage over the entire base and the area surrounding it. There's also an extra loot room in each of these towers, along with plenty of space for beds and lockers. Now you've pretty much seen everything, so let's get straight into the build. The build cost is basically 90k. You might be scared with the 1000 high qual, but that is purely just everything maxed out, and you obviously don't need to do that if you don't have access to it. So the core of this base and the 3 bunkered starters are based off Basso's Dinky base design, which is linked below if you want to check that out. It's an awesome solo duo base, and it's essentially a combination of 3 of these put together with a few changes. Now I'm going to upgrade these to what I would have at finished version, but obviously you upgrade these as you go. And because these are all offset bunkered, it gives you great protection if you are only going to get this down as your starter for the first day. Through any set of walls and through doors, if you have some armored doors, it'll be up to 26 rockets to raid. Now, doing the offset bunker itself is pretty simple. We're doing 9 triangles out off that square, and then as we go back, we want to lock it from left to right. So as you see it lock on there, going from left to right, you place it. You'll obviously test this as well, but then you do another 9 triangles out and repeat the process by removing this square, but leaving the triangle at the end there. Then we go back, and with the square we do the same thing. We lightly move our mouse until it locks, and just as it locks, we place there. Then we place our half walls and a triangle from this side, and then you can jump up onto the roof and test that this works after you place your frame going off that back wall. And you should have a triangle with 10 stability. This means your bunker is going to work, as if you place a roof, the bunker will break. So you're safe to upgrade everything at this point. I just replace that square as well, as sometimes that causes me problems with build block, and then I will replace down a square right in its place. Then the next part of this is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll just let it run through. Now at this point we get to another fidgety part, and that is the honeycomb on the back, as you can screw up the stability on the offset bunker if you don't place the triangle roofs for the triangle parts of the honeycomb correctly. So once you've placed the squares on the half wall window sides and triangles on all the rest, you then will get to the honeycombing of 2 triangle sections that protect the bunker. Now what you don't want to do is just place your walls. You want to stand below it and move your mouse from right to left until it locks onto the wall like so. This will make sure they don't connect to the offset part of the base and won't affect the stability of the bunker. So I suggest you just do this in Twig first, place both the walls, and then go inside and quickly test the triangle on the bunker to make sure it still shows 10% stability and that it breaks when you place the roof. At this point, you should be perfectly fine and not have to worry about it anymore. Now you want to place these triangles before you place these walls and this roof, as it will block the placing of the triangles on the ground. So make sure you do that on both the left and right hand side square foundations that have these roofs placed for honeycomb. After that, you've pretty much completed the starter base. You can add the second level of honeycomb on these triangles, do the same thing with the triangle roofs just to be certain that nothing will get screwed with. And then obviously you would have been putting down all your deployables, and you probably had done quite a bit of this in stone, so I'd be prioritizing upgrading it to sheet metal and HQM bunker. Now the only deployables I think I need to point out is the fact that you can place furnaces down where you place the roof and they won't block the roof from being placeable. You can also place electric furnaces here instead, or a repair bench. Now the other thing that's a bit fidgety is the vending machine bunker that goes in the door here. It's pretty simple to do. You basically just go inside and put down a locker and then also a box. You want to make sure that you code lock both of these. Your teammates can get them as well once they've been code locked and the vending machine is placed, so you don't need to worry about getting them all on that before you place the vending machine. Then you go into the corner here and you let yourself slide down once or twice. It's a bit annoying, but you'll get it. And you place the vending machine as far into the doorway as you can. Then you're basically going to be able to place a small box here and easily jump up and down on top of the vending machine to get out of your bunker. Then to access the small box, you just look down in the corner here and you can get that. And to access the locker, you just jump on top of the vending machine and look down and you'll get an option to get into that as well. You'll be doing this on all 3 of the bunkers, so you'll get used to it in no time. Now it's time to do the other 2 bunkers and complete the open core. So the only confusing part here might be the side that I'm starting on, but it's the side that has the jump up onto the roof, and it's left side of the door if you're looking at the front door straight on. Then you're basically just going on to your second bunker, which is rinse and repeat of what you've just done. So once you've completed the second bunker, you now start kind of closing off the circle for the open core. And I can show you how to do one of the exits/entrances and one of the chutes that goes up. Here, it's pretty simple. You'll just be placing walls and a door frame and completing the honeycomb on the back of the left bunker. Then you're just doing chutes up, which will go all the way to the roof and also give you another entrance/exit on the second level of the open core. Now again, none of this needs to be done, especially in metal. This is just because I'm doing it on a build server and it's going to be the end product. Now we move on to the third and final bunker, which will seal off the open core. This bunker has a bit of a different build out for the offset because the other bunkers block the normal build out. But as with the other bunker you just did, you're just going off the raised triangle foundation and building a triangle, square, triangle, triangle, and then square triangle will be the next bunker. Now once you've done your usual stuff for this bunker, again, I'm just doing it in HQ to make it a bit more obvious and it's the final build, you will need to do a different build out to do the offset. This build out is still pretty simple. It's basically just a bunch of squares, because as you can see, the normal build out will get blocked by the original starter base, so we've got to change it up a little bit. The build out for this one is essentially 3 squares of the first square you place, then you do your 9 triangles going up as usual. Then you delete everything going backwards, and you have to do a bit of a weird run with squares that gets you back to the bunker. It's pretty straightforward though. Once you've placed your first triangle, you destroy all the squares and then repeat the process once again. Now once you've completed all the build outs, you want to make sure that the bunker works, again, just to make sure there's no problems, and then you're ready to do the exact same thing you've done 2 times previously, and turn this into another one of the starter bases. Now at this point, you've done all the hard parts. You've done the 3 offset bunkers. Now, all that's next is to complete the open core and connect it all up. Now, you want to build from right to left, as you have been doing the whole time with the bunkers, just to avoid any weird build block situations. Once you've done that, you can complete the honeycomb on the last bunker and start doing your 2 exits/entries and chutes to the roof. Two down, now you've just got 1 more to go. Now you've got all 3 done, your open core and the core of the base is pretty much all connected. You just need to add a few triangles for your jump ups into your bunkers, and then start doing the honeycomb for the other 2 bunkers that realistically you haven't got any loot in yet, so I usually do this last. Now this is simply just adding some roofs and honeycomb, but you want to remember the few things I told you earlier. To make sure you place the roofs on the triangle honeycombs next to the bunker correctly so that you don't affect the stability of the bunkers, and to make sure that you place the triangles first before you do the square roofs, as those triangles will be blocked once you add the square roofs. So at this point, you've completed the core of the base. Now we're going to finish the roof and add the 3 towers. With the roof and the 3 towers, everything is pretty straightforward. I've also added a bunch of the deployables here. I'm not going to show them in the video because they're pretty self-explanatory, but I'll have a rusticated and a builder sanctuary code down below so you can look at the bases for yourself in game and see how I place all my deployables. Now the first thing I'm showing here is the roof setup, which makes it really nice and easy to jump up and down between the open core and the roof. These roofs also mean, because of the bottom part of the roof not really existing, turrets shoot through them. So the turrets in the open core will shoot anyone on the roof as well, and a lot of the time you won't even be able to see the turrets that are shooting you. So you repeat that process on all 3 corners of the base and you have your 3 towers done. Now it's time for the external gatehouses and external TCs. You're going to be building an external bedroom on each side of the base off all 3 of the towers. These are going to have your Patrico peaks that everyone's used to, and they're not very special, so I'll just let you watch the build. So you repeat that process on all 3 sides, and then you've got all 3 of your bedrooms. Now it's time for your gatehouses and your TCs. These are a simple 3 square build out, and then a simple Patrico Peak style gatehouse as usual. Then we do external bunkers using the freehand method that I also learnt from Basso. Now these bunkers for your external TCs are a little bit fidgety, but you'll get the hang of them pretty easy, and Basso came up with a very easy method that I can replicate without much practice at all. I'll also put the link to the video that he did showing how to do this very accurately in the description next to his base build as well. Now this part here is the fidgety spot. You're going to be placing quarter walls, and then you're going to either want to use a weapon to aim it up, or if you have a crosshair on, you can just use the dot for the crosshair. Now you're going to want to aim your reticle or your crosshair dot right here at this little dark spot below this white piece of wood. Then you're going to just walk backwards while you're pushing yourself against the wall, but not moving your mouse at all, until you get to this little straight part that has the rope on it, and you're going to stop just on the right side of that. Then you're going to destroy both of these quarter walls, walk yourself forward with a square foundation until it locks and it's placeable as blue. Now once you've placed your wall, there's a few different ways to tell whether you've done it right. If you upgrade it, you'll see that the conditional activates only on one side, or you can just do the build out to add the triangle like so, and if the wall doesn't collapse when you get rid of this square twig foundation, then you've done it right. Once you've done this, you build back and upgrade a triangle. Then you want to be placing a frame to block this gap that's in the roof to stop anyone from being able to shoot rockets or explode or something through to break your TC without having to go through the sheet metal walls. It's easiest to place this when you place your roof to actually open the bunker. This way you'll be able to see that you can connect it to the ceiling and not to the wall, otherwise the bunker will not open. Once you've done that, you can break the bunker and you'll see that the gap is sealed. You'll also want to rotate your frame or door or whatever it is to activate the conditional on the left side. So now the bunker is completely sealed up. Once you've done this, you can simply build your frames back to your external gatehouse, and then you can do a simple build out to break this. If you're raided and your main TC gets broken, you just build a twig build out like this and place a roof, and it will disconnect the external TC from the base. Then you can place a new TC in and reconnect the frame. Now we're going to replicate this on all 3 sides, of course, and we'll have 3 external TCs and gatehouses at the end. So now that we have all our external bedrooms and our external gatehouses and external TCs, we can do the compound. This you want to play around with a little bit, but usually there's some kind of landmark, whether it be a rock or a tree or a bush or something on the ground that you can space out the external wall and you can make sure you get it right. But like I do here, just play around with it a bit on a build server, and then generally you can get it down when you're actually doing it in a real wipe. So once you've placed all your walls, all you've got to do is add some windows and doors to your externals and use 2 barricades per side, 6 sides in total, to seal off your compound completely. After you've done all that, your compound will be secure. And the last thing to do is the roof with SAM sites, some windmills, and different turret placements that you can choose from. Now, since the absolutely terrible recent turret change, you're only allowed 12 turrets on a base of this size. So you have to choose where you want to place them, where you think they're most effective. These turret pods that I'm showing here is something that I used recently when I used the ALCATRAZ, as they can't be shot out pretty much at all from anywhere outside of actually being on the roof. Personally, I felt that these, combined with the turrets in the open core that shoot through the bottom of the roofing system, means that you're pretty much covered from above and below, and it's kind of the best coverage you can have. With this setup, you'll have 3 turrets on your roof that can shoot down into your open core, and 3 turrets in your open core that can shoot up to your roof. Then you'll have 1 turret per external bedroom and external gatehouse covering your compound. And with that, that's basically the build. I obviously have a bunch of different deployables and stuff that you guys might want to see. I'm not going to show that in the video because the video would be way too long. As I said earlier, there'll be a code for Rusticated and Builder Sanctuary servers in the description that you can use to go load up the base yourself and see how I lay out all my deployables. I hope you guys like this base, and I hope a bunch of you actually go out and build it. If you do, DM me on Discord and send me a picture of it. I'd love to see it. I also have an insane haunted house trap base type Halloween video coming out next week that is honestly probably one of the craziest things I've ever done in Rust. So keep a lookout for that in about a week's time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.